Hey y'all, it's Shelly and I am Scrappy Longstocking. I am here today to tell the stories that I had planned with the Collect Story Kit. I believe it was a story kit from 2025. No, 2024. And I had done a planning video a couple of months ago at least. And so I decided to go ahead and make as much progress on at least part of the story as I could make progress on this weekend because it's my birthday weekend and Memorial Day weekend in 2025. And all of my plans for Monday got rained out. It was raining here in Little Rock, and most of my plans were outside. So instead of getting sopping wet and being uncomfortable and grumpy, because I don't like to be wet, sopping wet in my clothes, I decided to go ahead and cancel plans and hope that the next day, which would be Tuesday and my actual birthday, would be better. So I was hoping the weather would be better and I could at least get started on some of the pieces that were left undone for this kit. So what I've already done is I pulled out some pieces that I had started to document my t-shirt collection a couple of years ago. And I had already begun attempting to document my t-shirt collection. I had taken a bunch of pictures of myself wearing my t-shirts, and I had begun to put them together in a 7x8 size, outside the page protector size. I didn't like how it was turning out, so I decided to just cancel everything I was doing and just set the pieces aside. Well, after I planned this kit, I went ahead and pulled those pieces back out, started taking them apart, and then making them fit into the pockets here. I did not, again, like how it was turning out. It was taking up too much room. And so I stopped and I just moved on. I left the pieces as they were sitting in the pockets, and I just decided to move on to other stories until I thought about a way to fix my problems. Since it was raining, I decided to go ahead and work on fixing my problem. And what I decided to do was take all the 3x4 photos that I had previously printed out and make them into a collage, which would save me some space because the photos would be smaller, and that would reduce. I think I ended up pulling out 2 or 3 extra page protectors that I didn't need because I had put the pieces into a collage. I also didn't have photos of myself in all of my t-shirts, so I think it was all the way back in February. I had taken some photos of some of my t-shirts. And then also while I was decluttering in 2023 and 24, I had taken some photos of my t-shirts before I tossed them out. Or not tossed them out. I sent them over to a charity shop, I believe. The other thing I did was add in an additional small collection that I have of some gnomes. When I planned this story kit, I don't think I had planned for the gnomes at all, but I have gained this year in 2025, I had gained a couple of different gnomes to add to my collection. So last year I had some Halloween gnomes that I got rid of because I stopped celebrating Halloween. And then I had some fall or Thanksgiving gnomes. And then this year I got some Valentine's Day gnomes and some St. Patrick's Day gnomes. Also, what I would need to get is some Easter gnomes. I may or may not have some of those, but I don't have a photo of my fall gnomes, but I had some extra little space there at the beginning, so I decided to put them in that extra little space because I only had the one picture of my shot glass collection. And I'm still building that. That's the shot glasses are the items that I get to commemorate trips and the places that I go, along with postcards for my scrapbook. I used to get coffee mugs and shot glasses, but I stopped collecting the coffee mugs because they take up more space than the shot glasses. And I got rid of the coffee mugs that I did not use and had duplicates for shot glasses for those places that I had visited. And then I moved on from the shot glasses and the coffee mugs onto the t-shirts because I have so many of these t-shirts. And I wanted to document a lot of them, as many as I could fit in a few pages. One, to get myself into my scrapbook, and two, because I really do have a lot of t-shirts. At least in my opinion, I have a lot of t-shirts. And it achieved the goal of using the photos and the pieces that I already have. So you can see I just pulled out 4 photos, and I'm going to replace those photos with one, which has, I believe, 6. Yes, so it's going to have 6 photos on it instead of 4. And I did something really weird there. I had wanted to use those 2 small photos of the 2 t-shirts that I cut off and laid off to the right hand side. I was going to make a collage with stickers and photos of my t-shirt. As I was scrapbooking along, I changed my mind, and I ended up having to go through all of this rigmarole of creating a grid with these photos that I'm taping down right now, and then still had to reprint the other 2 photos to a 3x4 photo size. I moved on, and I realized this 3x4 photo matched that sticker, so I could put that sticker on the right and then my photo on the left, and then I think I fill it in with something else later on, maybe another photo, but it was already printed out. It was 3x4, and I hadn't included it in that small grid down there. So I decided to keep it and then mat it on a 4x6 with another photo. And then I have a grid photo with 8 of my fall t-shirts, and those I had taken pictures of back at the beginning of the year. Have this picture on that I'm working on right now. The one on the right is a sweatshirt that has that same emblem as my t-shirt does, and it's the same emblem as that sticker. And so it looks weird like that because when I previously had put that scrapbooking pages together, I had decided to cut that sticker off. Well, now, since I'm redoing those pages because I was not liking how they were turning out, now I have to make do with how I already set it up. And that's fine. It's just a thing that happens, but I didn't like it the way it was looking, but I decided to just go with it because I had already made the choice before, and I didn't want to throw out that sticker because it was the only one of those that I had. And so my main idea was to put the stickers in groupings, because when I had originally started purchasing the t-shirts, I also was the manufacturer, the company that I bought them from, was also selling stickers to match. And I thought, and that's where I got the idea from to document my t-shirts, was the stickers that I was purchasing at the same time. And so since I was buying the t-shirts and the matching stickers, I thought, oh, what a great idea to go ahead and document my t-shirts. And I think initially my idea was to go ahead and document the Bible verses that went along with them. Well, I ended up not doing it. It's 4 years later, so I decided to make this documenting project as easy on myself as I could. So what I ended up doing was grouping Christmas t-shirts, because I've got a bunch of those, grouping fall t-shirts because I've got a bunch of those, and then grouping those Pray t-shirts all together because the that's where part of the original idea came from, is when I was doing One Little Word in 2022, I had purchased a bunch of t-shirts with my word on it. And so because I had all the t-shirts, and one of the prompts around April of May or May of 2022 had something to do with making your word visible or something like that, I ended up taking a bunch of pictures of myself in my t-shirts, and then I was continuing that because I wanted to document all of them. So I had that grouping of my One Little Word t-shirts from 2022, and then I had some additional other t-shirts as well. So I grouped them all together, and that way each photo does not require words. The idea that I had was to go ahead and do journaling for groups of photos. And so I don't do journaling for my fall or Christmas t-shirts. I did journaling for the one, I think I had 1 inch of journaling. So I next to my One Little Word t-shirt. So I went ahead and did journaling about why that grouping is there. And then I also did journaling at the beginning where I hand wrote on one of the cards. That was at the beginning, and I used the plastic word collect with the opening pages of this t-shirt spread. And then I also do some journaling on the back of a 4x6 card, which I do the second part of this project, because it ended up taking 2 days and about 2 or 3 hours of scrapbooking on camera. So I did some typed out journaling in the middle of the project, which just talks about all my t-shirts in general and why I have so many of them. And then I do some journaling to fit in one of the pockets. And so here I'm at the end of my first day of working on this project, and I'm just writing down the list of things that I need to print out and to be able to finish this project, or this part of this project, because it's the collect stories I decided to do in 3 parts. There's 3 parts of the story. So this part of collecting of stuff, telling the story of the stuff, is almost finished. And then, but I need some things to go ahead and tell the rest of this part of the story. project from last night. I had to pause to get some more photos and to type out some journaling. I was going to come pick it back up another day, but my birthday plans got rained out. So I decided to go ahead and just take a day of scrapbooking, and I am considering canceling my last vacation day tomorrow because it's supposed to rain tomorrow too, and then just reschedule a couple of days off for later on. Whoops, sorry. When the weather will be sunny and warm, because all of my plans were outside. All right. I had planned to go to Hot Springs and look at the viewing tower, and then have some fun at some looking around the shops that are in Hot Springs. And I was going to go, there's also a wax museum there. I was going to go to the wax museum because I haven't been yet. And I just decided not to because it's been raining for 4 days, which is totally not normal. It's not normal for this time of year in Arkansas. Every year that I've been here, I've only been here 3 years, really, so I guess I shouldn't say like every year, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the last 3 years I've been here, it has been bright and sunshiny, and the rainy time is in April, but this year it apparently came a month late for whatever reason. So it might be killing my vegetable garden, and it's killing my plants. So I'm not here to complain. I'm here to put this scrapbooking page together. So here's what I've got so far. Last night I reprinted my t-shirts here, and I've got some that need to go in the holes. I need to figure out the spaces which are left behind. And I need to figure out what to put in this one. I may put some journaling about fall being my favorite. I might. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to just put these in the different slots. I also came up with a solution to my problem of what to do with my extra sticker as well. At least I can cut straight today. I could not cut straight to save my life yesterday. And then I've got some journaling here, so I should have just stuck those on the same. Oh, sometimes I'm a dingle dork. Should have just stuck these on the same one here. There, let's just do that. Okay, so that seems like it needs tape down. It does, and I need a 4x4. Because I've learned a lesson about taping things both front and back. I have learned that lesson the hard way. Very much the hard way. You learn a lot of things the hard way in life. That is okay. I will live. So I'm going to go ahead and just tape this down. So if I can find my tape, I just saw it like 2 jiggles ago, 2 seconds. You all probably see it, and you're probably yelling at me. No, you weren't seeing it. No one saw it. Not even me. Okay, doke. Alright, so I'm going to line that up with the top-ish, and then I'm just going to cut this little notch off. Okay, there we go. And then, do I have... I've also learned a trick about using copy paper to put things together from a person on YouTube. So this one goes on the left, and because I have reams of copy paper, I have reams of it from when I was in private practice. When I closed my firm, my office, it wasn't a firm. When I closed my office, I had almost an entire case of paper because I used to print way more than I do now. guys, so what I decide to start doing is do the numbering of the pockets. So I divided the stories up into 3 different types of stories with the basically the table of contents. And so I divide the stories themselves up into three different types of stories. And so I start here with number 1, and I just adhere that oval and a white number sticker on the back of the craft pocket. I thought the white showed up really well against the craft. And then I begin to move on to the second one and realize, and I start to cut out this craft paper into a 4x4 so that it'll fit inside the pocket. And as I'm getting ready to do it, I start flipping back and forth because I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do with these numbers in the pockets themselves. And so I thought it was odd that number 1 would be love this stuff when it was about telling stories and making memories. So I didn't think that made much sense either. So I went to the back and I got the one that said collecting memories so that it would go along with telling stories and memory keeping. So then that meant I needed one for the second story, and that would just be in a paper, on a piece of craft paper in the pocket itself. And then that would mean the third one would be on the back of the pocket since I had already put that oval on there. Well, then when I get back to story number 3, I realize the pocket says, love this stuff. And that didn't make sense because the story was not about collecting stuff. It was about starting over and collecting thoughts. So I go ahead and do another 4x4 with the craft pocket. And then I go ahead and start adhering that down. And I suddenly realized that would make the last 2 stories not have a pocket, but the first one have a pocket. So I went to my Week in the Life pages, my drawer full of supplies, and I decided to grab out an extra pocket that made sense that would go along with the story so that I would have 3 pockets and I would have 3 numbers. I know that's a lot of rigmarole just to make things make sense, but it would have driven me nuts to have 1 pocket at the beginning and then 2 numbers that aren't pockets. So it then made sense to me to go ahead and change them all to pockets since there would be, it would flow and it would match throughout. It's just a little nutcakes that I decided to do for no good reason at all. But it worked out because nothing tore, nothing stuck, nothing, it just was a bunch of shuffling about, and that's it. What I've got my title page here, and then I am going to grab some random photos. I think in my next video I'm going to grab some photos and put them behind there, and I'll probably white out that little number there. Then I'll do this story next. This is the story about memory keeping. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and divided up the types of story into 3 types of story. The story of telling stories, the story of stuff, and the story of starting over. So the first one is the story of memory keeping. I have not done that yet. Then the next story is the story of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and do some journaling in this later on. I need to make a list of my shot glasses, the places where I've got shot glasses from. And then I have some more gnomes to put in here for fall, because I have this small gnome collection, which I'm adding to. Then I've also got to add some mugs for Thanksgiving here. But here's the rest of my mug collection. I got rid of a bunch of them when I was decluttering, which is a whole nother part of the story. And this right here, let's move you over, sir. So my t-shirt collection, I had tried to put this story together before in 2023, which is why I have so many photos of myself in my t-shirts. However, I did not like how it was turning out, so I put it aside. And then when I got this kit and planned for it, I remembered those photos and went ahead and decided to put them in here. So you saw that I had reprinted this piece right here. Some of these are reprints to resize them. And then my journaling. This was the way that this project was put together before. So I just redid it and put it in this album, cut it down and put it in this album. I have t-shirts Christian t-shirts for various holidays, activities. I have sleep t-shirts. I have bee t-shirts, I have fall t-shirts, and I have Christmas t-shirts. This is the story. I think it goes with the story of stuff because it's about decluttering. And so this is the story of decluttering. Here's all the mess with the before, and then here's the after. I should probably put after over here, but I missed it, so I'm probably just going to leave it. And then the third story I probably will not share unless I don't get too personal in it, but is the story of starting over after my divorce, living my life. I'm almost a whole year out from it, so I think I'm okay to tell this story. If I start telling the story and I'm not okay, then I will simply just wait until another time to tell this story when I am okay. There's no way to tell right now. And that's all I have. These are some pieces from I want to say the fun story kit that I put in here to go ahead and tell a story in 3 parts. So that's the end of the Collect Story Kit. I hope you got some ideas or at least enjoyed just passing some time with me while I'm putting my pages together for this. I very much enjoyed hanging out with you all today. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. And as usual, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you want to tell the algorithm that you want to see more pages like this, and in particular my pages as well when they come available. I hope to see you all around the internet, friends. Bye.